October 29th, 1969, at 10:30 in the evening, Charlie Klein put in the entry, "Talk to SRI host to host." That's the record of that first message, low, that was sent between us and SRI.
On October 29, 1969 at 10:30 p.m., Internet history was made when student programmer Charlie Klein sent the first message to a Stanford Research Institute computer in Menlo Park, California. Initially built to connect computers at a research institution during the Cold War, the ARPANET broke communication barriers and eventually evolved into the worldwide connection we know today as the Internet. With the use of packet switching and the TCP/IP protocol, the ARPANET was soon able to increase computer accessibility by making data transfer and the connection and communication of computers easier. The ARPANET helped break communication and language barriers, as it was the first network that was able to connect computers together. With the ARPANET, the military was able to have a stable communication system that wasn't susceptible to harm. It allowed military commanders to communicate with each other without the worry of the network collapsing.
People look at the early ARPANET and see different things, and I think the two things that I saw were, one of them, the ability to basically break the language barrier, if you will. In other words, have two really dissimilar computers talking to one another. That was huge.
The ARPANET is an early packet switching network that followed the TCP/IP protocol. It was created by DARPA, or the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. DARPA was formed in 1958 as the US's first response to the Soviet launching of Sputnik 1 during the Cold War. The defense was added to the Advanced Research Project Agency, ARPA, in 1972 as the research became more for defense and military projects. Since then, the mission of DARPA was to maintain state-of-the-art technology for the military and to prevent any technological surprises from other countries. During the Cold War, the US was in fear of a nuclear attack. The Soviet Union had just launched the Sputnik 1 satellite into orbit, giving them a technological advantage. The military needed a way to control its computers remotely in case a nuclear attack ever happened. The idea of the ARPANET was formed, and it was funded by DARPA. The idea was that the ARPANET would allow scientists to communicate together and help prevent a nuclear attack, in case one ever happened. The challenge was taken up by a researcher in the RAND Corporation, Paul Barron, who came up with the first idea of packet switching. When the ARPANET was first created, the main use was for the military to link computers together in a Pentagon-funded research institution. At the height of the Cold War, military commanders were trying to make a computer communication system without a central core, headquarters, or base of operations. This way, if it was ever attacked by enemies, the entire network wouldn't collapse all at once. The original plan of DARPA was to build a network system that was able to stretch across the US and link governmental and scientific organizations, something that was never possible before. However, the first phase of the ARPANET was much simpler: 4 computer systems that would be linked together using IMPs, or interface message processors, and existing telephone lines. They would reduce the workload put on the host computers, which greatly simplified the process of connecting computers to the ARPANET.
This is an IMP, which stands for an Interface Message Processor, which were built to be the first switches for switching packets around the ARPANET.
Another key element necessary in the making of the ARPANET were its protocols. The ARPANET used the TCP/IP and NCP protocols. Protocols are a standard set of rules that allow electronic devices to communicate together. In order for the ARPANET to work properly, it needed a way for users to log into the system remotely, as well as move files from one machine to the other. This remote login became known as Telnet. Telnet is an application protocol used in both the ARPANET and the Internet. The team soon began to work on the Network Control Program, NCP. NCP is a symmetric host-to-host protocol. It allowed computers to communicate within the network, while allowing other hosts to join and make it bigger. The ARPANET also took advantage of a new way to send data from host to host, packet switching. In packet switching, host computers divide computer files into smaller segments, which are called packets. Once the packets get to the other computer, they are reassembled, making the process of transferring data much easier. DARPA chose the sites for the initial computers based on pre-existing research relationships with the US government. The 4 sites were at the University of California, Los Angeles, the Stanford Research Institute, the University of California, Santa Barbara, and the University of Utah. In August 1969, the UCLA team connected its computer to an IMP, making it the first computer to connect to the ARPANET. In October of the same year, the SRI team added the second IMP and host computer to the network. By the end of 1969, all 4 host computers were connected. For the first time ever, scientists were able to harness the power of multiple computers in remote locations. The ARPANET was also able to break communication barriers with file transfers, remote logins, and email. With the ARPANET, people could use one computer system and log into another one miles away. Researchers could get information from databases without having to travel all the way to another computer site for the first time. Remote logins became accessible mainly because of the TCP/IP protocol. The Network Terminal Protocol, Telnet, allowed users to log in on any computer connected to the ARPANET. To start a remote session, a user needed to specify a computer to connect to. From then until the session was over, anything typed was directly sent to the other computer. Telnet allows the computer to be invisible, so the commands go straight to the other computer. Remote login allows workers to access the computers from any internet-enabled device. Not only did the ARPANET provide remote logins, it also designed file transfers. Users could access information in other computer systems with them. They could also copy and save data or send files across the network. This was mainly possible because of the File Transfer Protocol, or FTP. The FTP allows a user to get files from one computer and send files to another one. FTP is a utility that a user can run anytime they want to access a file in a system. The user can copy the file onto their own system and work with the local copy. Although the ARPANET provided both remote logins and file transfers, the most useful was email. In 1972, before the start of the World Wide Web, programmer Ray Tomlinson developed an electronic mail system for the ARPANET. By adapting a pair of operating system applications called SendMessage and ReadMail, Ray Tomlinson was able to create the basis of email. He picked the @ symbol to indicate sending messages from one computer to the other. The format for email was the name of the user @ name of the computer. This allowed the application to know where to send messages and who to send it to. In addition to what the World Wide Web offers, email is the most important and beneficial application of the Internet. Email has helped people around the world in many ways. It has many benefits, including direct communications, low cost, accessibility, and the ease of sharing with others. Not only has email changed the face of communication around the world, but it was also one of the major reasons the ARPANET evolved into the Internet, as it caused a radical shift in DARPA's purpose. While the ARPANET was more of a defense tactic at first, email allowed it to spread to everyone around the country. Instead of just a military weapon, the ARPANET started to connect civilians as well. This caused the ARPANET to progress into the Internet, which became a worldwide connection that everyone uses. A new protocol was needed in order to make the ARPANET more global. They developed the IP, Internet Protocol, which was able to control various things such as how electronic messages were packaged, addressed, and sent over. The standard protocol TCP/IP was soon invented in 1977 and allowed users to connect other parts of networks to the ARPANET. This soon came to be called the Internet. The introduction of the World Wide Web was a fairly recent event and was only created in 1989 by Tim Berners-Lee. The World Wide Web allows computer users to view text, animations, audios, and videos on almost any topic. While the ARPANET had many benefits and led to many advancements in the world, the Internet is the real reason it is available to so many people today. The ARPANET became a research-focused network mainly dominated by universities and research institutions after the MILNET domain was created. MILNET was a branch in the ARPANET which was reserved for military purposes, and it helped broaden the range of people the ARPANET was intended for. However, on February 28, 1990, the ARPANET was officially decommissioned, as the initial military purpose wasn't necessary anymore. The Internet took over, steadily increasing the number of people who used it every day. The ARPANET was a strong base for the Internet and the World Wide Web to be developed. This phenomenal invention has had numerous impacts on modern-day culture, economy, and society. Now, over 4.3 billion people use the Internet every day. Although many advancements have been made since then, none connected with people as much as the Internet. 12 years after Charlie Klein sent the first message on the ARPANET, only 213 computers were connected to the network. By 1995, over 16 million people were online. The Internet has kept growing, helping people around the world connect with each other and changing their lives forever. Time will only tell how this will impact us in the future, and how generations to come will build from what has been transfixed into our daily regimes.